What is up, everybody? But Pete, they're saying no sound. There's no sound. Yep. Yep, they said they couldn't hear no sound. It's saying Pete, no sound, bro.
Lick my nutsack. Is that being brought over air? What the fuck? Oi.
Okay, I unmuted the stream, and when you told everybody to lick your nutsack, they heard that.
That comes on. That comes on. But the whole promo for the goddamn Savior is out the fucking window.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, my Lord. How's it going, everyone in the chat? Holy shit. My fault. You know what I did? I have to be running 2 microphones when I'm doing this show, and I totally forgot about it. And the Savior finally appears, and he is not heard. My goodness.
Maybe that's a sign of things to come.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But I do know that he will be on Renegade Wrestling Organization tonight for a message for Wild Eyed Yeti. But that's besides that. That was out the window, and I thought I did a pretty goddamn good job.
I heard it, and you did.
But
I heard it perfectly. It was good.
I want to welcome my co-host. It is Tyler Black from TCB Sports.
What is up, everybody? What is up, peeps?
I want to welcome Blaze McCoy from Blazed Radio. Unmute you, fuck.
He left the call. He left the call.
Oh, he fucking lost his shit again.
Yo.
There we go. He is back. How's it going, Blaze McCoy?
I'm here.
Okay, good to know. Also, Susie the Elf from Elite Extreme Women Wrestling.
Good evening, everybody. Hi, Pete.
You guys want me to do it over? Jesus, it kind of takes away from the whole thing because it was all planned out for the top of the show.
That's up. Go ahead.
You know how hard it was to do that
good.
with my fucking glasses? I was reading from a script I wrote right before the show, too. But this is Overdrive, and it is all about your digital wrestling syndicate. We've got a lot of shows going throughout the territories now. You've got Midwest Pro Wrestling. You've got Malicious Intent Wrestling, or Intentions, either one. You've got Elite Extreme Women. And you've got Tyler Black's Ground Zero. Oh, and I forgot one special guy. Get out of the car, John!
Very funny there, Pete.
I'm sorry, I had to wait to do it, man. I had to wait to do it. Yes, welcome, Cowboy John.
You gotta welcome Malice. You gotta welcome Malice.
Just a second. I was talking about Malice. He's not on air with us at the moment. Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, my God.
He is, too.
Yeah, I snuck in here last minute.
Chris, how's it going?
It's going pretty good, but how's everybody doing?
Not too bad. Glad everyone's here except for Mark from Bombpop Overdrive. Other than that, we've got everyone here, it seems. Did I miss anyone's introduction besides Chris's? No?
You forgot to introduce me!
Oh, it's Rex Rapolsky. My God. How's it going, brother?
Yes! Thank you very much, Pete. It's a privilege to be here with the Digital Wrestling Syndicate.
So every week we try to get on here. We like to talk about what's been going on with our shows, what kind of improvements that we can make, and ask you guys any questions, or you guys can ask us any questions. So I'm going to hand it over because I want to start with other people besides me. So I'm going to hand it over to Susie the Elf. Susie, you're going to be handling MPW the 2 weeks that we've been going with MPW as well as Elite Extreme Women. And so I want to let you open up with Midwest Pro Wrestling, if you will, and let everyone know what's been going on with Midwest, the storylines that have been working out, the matches that have gone down, and the commotion that is the women's division right now, as well as Hit Squad. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Susie. Take it away.
Thank you, Pete. Well, I tell you, last week was really busy in Midwest Pro Wrestling. First of all, I had a regular show there on Monday night, and I'm scrolling back in my notes. I have lots and lots of notes. Let me find it here real quick. First of all, we had our regular Monday night show last week, and we had 2 women's matches. We had Lilith and Holly Body taking on each other for a number 1 contenders match, and we had Lilith beating Holly Body to become the number 1 contender to take on Alexa Weiss, who is on a rampage, let me tell you. And we've got Terry Savage taking on Matt Montana and beating him. He's just been, Terry Savage he's stepped up here lately. We have Blaze McCoy taking on our illustrious Pete and showing him what he could do in the ring. He really stepped up. And then, of course, we had Scuzz taking on Hammerheart. And then we had Alexa Weiss taking on Ruby Jewel. And that was one non-exciting match. It was just boom, and it was done. Alexa Weiss has just absolutely wiped out the women's division. And it's just like, what are we going to do in the women's division? Are we going to find any competition for Alexa Weiss? When it came to the Hit Squad, it was very quiet this last week in the normal Monday show. It was just, it was there. No Hit Squad, no Hit Squad members, and it was just, they were just there at the commentary desk, and Scuzz ignored them, and we went on about business. But then on Thursday night, if I can find my notes here again. Here we go. We had a special. Excuse me just one second. Sorry, I did not want to cough in everybody's ears. We had a special on Thursday called Overglow. It was a primetime special. And we had non-title matches between Alexa Weiss and a newcomer named Ray. And let me tell you, did Ray ever step up and give our champion a run for her money? And let me tell you, if it would have been a championship match, I think that we might have seen a change in the women's title. It might have been a different outcome, because Ray really stepped up and showed what she had and gave our women's champion a run for her money. It was a knockout, drag out fight, let me tell you. We had a triple threat match between Al Taylor, the wily veteran, Born Asuka, and Vlad, the Impaler Petrov. But our wily veteran, Al Taylor, pulled out the win. We had a fatal 4-way match between Ruby Jewel, Holly Body, Sonya, and Lilith. And if I remember right, this was for the number 1 contender for who was going to be the next victim for Alexa Weiss, and it was Ruby Jewel who pulled out the victory. And then we had an Extreme Rules match between Blaze McCoy and Terry Savage. And let me tell you, Blaze McCoy stepped up and showed that he could be extreme. He doesn't know how just to toke him. He knows how to be extreme. And then in another Extreme Rules match, we had a triple threat match between Pete Wall, Hammer Hart, and the champion in a non-title match here. No titles were on the line on this special night, and it was Scuzz. And Scuzz showed that he could take on not just one opponent, but he could take on two and get the job done. And let me tell you, it was an exciting night there at MPW Overglow. And just so you know, there are only 2 more episodes left before we have the pay-per-view, and our GM has not released the name of the pay-per-view yet.
Well, thank you very much for that, Susie. It was good to hear about MPW. Now, later on this week, maybe we do another episode. I'm not sure. I would like to get a show in where Mark can talk about the upcoming pay-per-view, the plans for it. I know he's not going to release too much info. He wants to kind of, surprise everyone with what's going to go down. But a great show. If you guys like the throwback feel of MPW, please get over to Bombpop Overdrive, hit that subscribe button, and the little bell that gives you notifications whenever he goes live. And he does a lot of other stuff on there. He's doing Battlefront 2 right now, Friday the 13th, among other games that he's been doing. So, great.
He's really having fun with Friday the 13th and Battlefront.
Yes, and it's a great channel, and he's a great host. So if you guys haven't checked him out, do so now.
I will give you all the link to Bombpop. And when he hits 150 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen, he is going to be doing a massive giveaway. He will be doing a Blu-ray DVD, best of season 1 of MPW, along with other swag. It's not just the DVD. There's other swag that he will be giving away too. So go to that channel and subscribe if you haven't done so. And yes, get out of the car, John.
Thank you very much, Susie. I'm going to let you get back to your Elite Extreme Women shortly. No problem. We're going to let Tyler do his show now. Talk about what's been going down, what he's got planned, any pay-per-views that are coming around, stuff like that. And we will move in and transition over to questions from the chat, as well as maybe talk a little bit. This weekend was NXT TakeOver, as well as WWE Survivor Series. If anyone wants to discuss that, by all means, go for it. There's also Ring of Honor action that went down. I didn't watch any of it.
I could talk about that personally.
I didn't watch any of it. I didn't care for it, so I never tuned in. But if anyone wants to discuss it, it's up to them. But for the most part...
Here's the link to Tyler's channel.
For the most part, this channel is about created wrestlers using Wrestler Unstoppable, as well as subscribers from our channels creating their wrestlers that they want, bringing them to life, and having just a great fucking time with them. So Tyler Black, I'm going to open up the floor for you. Take it away, brother.
Okay, I will do that. Well, guys, Ground Zero Wrestling had a special yesterday called Attitude. It was a special event, and it had some crazy-ass matches until I had the fucking black screen where it does the caution because the internet acted up. But before that, we had what? We had Carol Powers, Cassie's grandma, defeated Cherry Bomb. We had Boots and Blood, Mordwin Nightwalker and Jake Bagwell, representing Hit Squad, defeated Dwayne Wade. You know the Glow, Dwayne Wade? Yeah, the Glow. The Glow. Yeah, the Glow. Dwayne Wade. It was a 2-on-1 mugging. We had the Death Dealers. Mel Montez and Devilish defeated Ben Wall and Mark Bilsma of the Gold Standards. And the Death Dealers became the #1 contenders for the Steel City Committee's tag team titles over on Beatdown. Alexa Wise defeated Elizabeth, and it was actually a good match. That was one of the best matches of the day. We have new Street Fight Tag Team Champions with Sadistic Intent finally defeating the most pathetic team, Dino Boom. It's official. Dino Boom has officially been fired from Ground Zero Wrestling after that defeat. So you will no longer have to see Dino Boom in a Ground Zero ring or see him on your televisions ever again. Dino Boom, you're fired. That goes for Dino and Aaron Benson, both fired. Goodbye. Adios. Hit Squad, Cowboy John, and Danny Derringer defeated Bone Dog and Warlock in a pretty good tag team match. Bad Jan defeated Emily Williams. Bad Jan was a former Street Fight Women's Champion, but lost. And then the Killer Dolls, Speranza and Doll Baby, beated Akira and Amanda Hunter. But that's why we could not have the main event. Was supposed to be Ty Blackwell versus Pete Wall, but that's when the internet went out. So that was a non-televised match, which Pete said Ty cheated. So, which technically he didn't. But Ty Blackwell defeated Pete Wall in an untelevised match.
It was not aired. There is no proof that I lost that match. We're going to have to get into this again verbally, bro. Because I can take your ass all the way back down to the ring and whoop it all over again.
Well, guess what, Pete? It's going to have Ty Blackwell is... You two are going to face each other eventually in a televised match. Falls count anywhere. It's going to be televised. It is going to be televised. And when it's televised, Ty Blackwell says he's going to beat the shit out of Pete Wall. It is beneficial. And we got December the 16th is the night of Ground Zero Wrestling Beatdown Super Show. That is going to be called Extreme Christmas. That is going to be their super show. So basically their pay-per-view called Extreme Christmas on December the 16th. It's a Saturday night show. And on December 23rd, the day before Christmas Eve, will be Street Fight Super Show called Clash of Christmas. So, back-to-back weeks, we're going to have super shows. And I got a lot of stuff planned from now until then. So stay tuned, check out the channel, and hope you guys are digging Ground Zero Wrestling. Thank you for your time, Pete.
Oh, don't have to thank me for fuck all, bro. Okay.
Pete, we have a guest with us
that
that would like to make a special announcement.
Oh, he came over on air to touch himself for all the world to see, didn't he?
He sure did, I assume. I don't know. But he would like to make a special announcement.
How the hell are you doing, Lord Amadeus? Oh, really? That's really interesting, bro. Is he on air or what?
I assume he is.
Lord Amadeus.
He's there.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you, brother.
And no, Pete, I don't like to touch myself for everyone to see. I just like to wiggle my bare ass in your face.
Well, brother, you got the open floor. You got a special announcement. I want to hear what's going down with in the world of Lord Amadeus.
Well, as some of you may know, those of you in RAWF and in Wrestler Unstoppable know, we have a big pay-per-view this Friday night, Black Friday, live from Madison Square Garden. And it is going to be a huge show. But I just got breaking news. We have a title in RAWF called the Champions Choice Championship. And the champion, whoever it may be, is allowed to choose their opponent and choose their steps every month when they defend the title at the pay-per-view. Our current Champions Choice champion is Nikki the Icon Hayes, and he has finally made his decision at the... Thank goodness, finally. I've been trying to get him to answer me for 2 weeks now, but he has decided to choose none other than Susie the Elf to challenge him for that title at Black Friday.
Really? What? Oh, why? Why? What stipulations?
It's just a cage match, Alfie. It's nothing that you have to pay too much attention to. Don't worry. You don't have to sing or dance, although that would have been funny, you have to admit, to make you sing or dance. But anyway, it's just a simple cage match. You don't have to worry about having to remember anything special.
Okay, well that's good.
Whoa, that was loud. Anywho, I appreciate you guys giving me a few minutes of your time, and I'll let you get back to your show. Thank you very much.
Hey, man, it's always a pleasure to have you on. And one of these days, I'm going to have to get you on for some live promo or interview work.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely need to work on doing that some here. Not just with you, but possibly with Blaze as well in LTD. Looking forward to competing over there as well. So
it is going to be sweet to see you in action throughout the territories that is the Digital Wrestling Syndicate. Now, there's been a lot of things going on this week with everyone's channels, and I want to say I did check out Malicious Intentions Wrestling. Is that correct? Is it Malicious Intentions Wrestling or Malicious Intent? Hello, Chris.
Oh, you talking to me?
About that, I was muted for a second. It is indeed Malicious Intentions Wrestling.
Okay. So I got to take in a pre-show you did, which you ended up taking down, but very intense action going on your channel. And today you did a 4-hour stream, basically
4 hours
for debut
Jesus
for
Christ.
your channel. Is that how I'm taking it? It's a debut show or tournament. I have not had time to watch this one. I've been gone all afternoon.
This one was pretty much piggybacking off of the show last night. Last night we crowned a few new champions. We had Blaze McCoy emerge victorious in a 10-man battle royal over some of the top talent that I've signed to become our heavyweight champion. We've had the Steel City Committee representative Shmoo defeat 5 other men in an elimination chamber match to become the hardcore champion, which would be like our version of the Intercontinental / United States title. And we've got Susie the Elf, who is now our women's champion. But tonight was more so a night about picking up brewing rivalries, establishing a few new ones, and revealing my tag team titles, which we now have champions for that, being the Sinister Saints.
That is beautiful.
They outlasted 5 other teams to become the tag team champions, and what a match was that title match. If you guys did not check that action out, I highly recommend going back to watch it. You missed out on a spectacle.
Now, Malicious Intentions Wrestling, what is your goals? Like among all of us, we all have our own unique way of going about setting up our shows. Question for you before we ask what your plans are for the future. How are you enjoying it?
How am I enjoying it?
Yeah.
Man, it's been pretty fun. I'm getting to work with some really, really interesting people. The characters that these people are creating are far more interesting than a lot of the things that I've come across in Unstoppable, and that's saying a lot. Like, there are all types of shit in Unstoppable, but man, like, this is an experience that I'm glad I got to be a part of. Getting to witness the creative minds of so many different people at work is just a good thing, and I'm having so much fun with it.
I remember the days back in FBW as well as WU when I was promoting there and making the cards. What are the differences for you? Like, do you find it easier to do it this way, or is it just a different avenue and it's not much different for you? Like doing booking matches for the live stream as to WU.
Man, being completely honest, it's not really too much different. I always try to have like with what I was doing with the two shows last night. We still haven't had our debut show. Our debut show for Malicious Intentions isn't until Thursday.
Okay.
But I did these other two shows so that way I can have preset angles to work for future storylines. Just so that way there's something to build from. And that's something that I've always brought to my shows, especially in Unstoppable. I would always have like a month-long storyline planned out before I did the card.
Yeah.
So it's not really too much different as far as like going into it. I still try to keep with that approach. As far as actually setting up the matches, this is a lot less time consuming because I don't have to code anything. But it's still the same approach though, just like paying attention to the match results, setting up matches based on my thought of quality, as far as caliber of wrestlers and all of that is concerned, and just trying to keep things fair.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is trying to keep things fair so that way everyone's happy. I know I fell into that where there was a lot of bitching and griping because some wrestlers weren't set up basically the same way as another person's. And a little bit of an echo. Okay, let me see. I think that's on my end, Blaze. I have to use two mics, and I've got the one further away from the monitor so it doesn't pick up the sound as much, but it's still interfering a bit. But in Big Dog Wrestling, I looked at the characters themselves, and I kind of did their attributes accordingly to where I thought they should stand in the company. And you know, you have your middleweight fighters, your jobbers. I didn't make anyone really a jobber. I didn't want that part, but I wanted a kind of like a tier system.
A nice, good little breakdown.
Yeah, and that caused issues. So then I went and put everyone up, and I don't know if anyone else has experienced this with the with 2K17. It would change your attributes constantly, and so it was back and forth fixing it. And if I'd forget about it, then the bitching would continue again. Blah blah blah. So with 2K18, what I did was I just said, "Fuck it, I'm cranking everyone." There's not going to be any difference with the attributes besides weight and size, because that all affects the whole attribute system, which I really dig. So no one's really the same with the attributes. Yes, they're 100, but not the same. And what I've been seeing is you guys all been following suit as well, making sure that there's no cause for them to bitch about that shit. And I really dig that everyone's doing that.
I mean, it's a really, really sound approach. It's smart for multiple reasons. The first being because it does keep competition fair when using AI. Like, there's no way to predict who's going to win the match at all whatsoever. Everybody's coming in on equal footing, and then at the same time, it saves us time because we don't have to deal with that extra hassle. It gives us a lot more freed up time to do what we want to do creatively and to touch up the characters the way that we would like to, if we would like to.
Yeah, very much so. One thing I did, because I really wanted to test this for 2K18, when I went through the settings, I went and made sure I switched on injuries. So that way it's possible for a wrestler to get injured within the game. I don't know if that's going to do anything with the attributes in the end, but it's something I wanted to test because I wanted a little bit of realism in there. If someone's getting beaten to the point where it looks like their character should be on the shelf for a couple of weeks, I wanted that kind of aspect added to the game. And
definitely,
so
the realism.
Hopefully that works out. And we're going to see how that works. And if it does happen that someone gets injured and put on the shelf, please do not complain. It will be added to the storylines of what's going down, and it will build some intrigue. You know, just, you guys calm and collected and just enjoy what's going down. If your wrestler gets put on the
You
shelf
know,
for a
I
couple
want
weeks-
to touch on something real quick while you brought it to my mind. I know there's a lot of people who get upset because their wrestler takes losses and here or there. It comes with the territory, folks. You're gonna take a bump every now and then. It's like Blaze said previously in a couple of streams and in some chats. Like, there's no better opportunity to paint yourself in a good light than to take a loss. Like, everybody likes a good bounce back story, and it goes the same thing with the injury. Like, we're gonna love to see a good comeback story. So, like, the ability to roll with the punches is gonna be your best friend here when it comes to these storylines.
Now, I want everyone to take a really good look at my character within the game. He has become a tap out bitch. He has yet to win a match, and he fucking taps in every fucking match he's in, you know? And I find it funny because I went through him and I set him up the way I like him, you know? And with everybody being at the same attributes, you know, 100 attributes, it's very unpredictable to tell what and or how the matches are going to go down. And I love that aspect a lot more. There's no one going to be just, you know, ruling over everyone. It's going to be a really, really good test to see how long a wrestler within the game can actually hold on to their titles now and move forward. So I do like that part. Second, your goals for MIW.
The goals for Malicious Intentions is pretty simple, man. I just want to have a lot of fun with a lot of people that I've met over the years in Unstoppable in a different way. The main goal for it, as far as conceptually and all of that, I want people to recognize it as the home of the hardcore wrestling in the Digital Wrestling Syndicate. It is your ECW here. We're going to be bringing you all types of extreme matches. And now that I'm actually playing with the custom match feature, there's going to be all types of insanity. And just, oh my God. I don't even want to get into it. I just want to save everything until I actually reveal these matches. So that way people are like, are you nuts?
Yeah.
Why did you make this match?
No, and
Because you are nuts.
We're going to talk about the
Yeah, I am.
We're going to talk about the customized matches later on the show because there are some things I wish they would add, and we'll get to that later. But I'm going to let Blaze McCoy take it away from here.
Thanks, Pete. I'm going to go at it a little differently to talk about the state of the LTD right now, leaning towards death wrestling. Let's say we're going to go over the 4 top topics in LTD. No, I'm not stuttering, even though I do sometimes. That's the top topics in LTD. So the headline number 1 is the caged animal. At Rex Wildcat, a lot of jokes. Started our last show inside of a cage, inside of the arena. God knows why. We ended the show winning inside of a cage, winning the league title. Now, finally got to touch talking and ask who put him in the cage. How did he end up in the cage for that show?
Hey, bro, can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Is there a way you can turn up your mic a bit? And it's breaking up a bit, so we couldn't catch everything you were talking about.
Check something. How about that?
There we go. That's nice and clear, bro. Take it away.
Yeah, my mic's up. We'll start over here. The 4 top topics in LTD. Rex Wildcat started out the show inside of a cage. He ended up inside of a cage, but winning the lethal title. I finally got to talk to him to ask him who put him inside of that cage. He did it. So for some crazy reason, he put himself inside of the cage, and it ended up paying off for him. He wins the lethal title. That sets up a match between him and Bone Dog at the Supercard this Wednesday for the lethal title. Now, another strange occurrence. Topic number 2. There was actually, like right now, everyone knows there's no women's division for a reason in LTD. We are promoting and we have a contract with Elite Extreme Women to not have a women's division right now. But that didn't stop some of the managers from having a confrontation after the show. Susie the Elf and Sassy Blackwell were caught face-to-face with Evie Bloodyard and Alexa Weiss. They were having a little spat. And along came a little girl, now who we know, her name is Gypsy Rose. Gypsy Rose has come and identified herself as part of the Steel City Committee. And all I can say right now is stay tuned for Gypsy. She will accompany Dr. Sexton down to the ring at the Supercard. But tune in to see more about Gypsy. But if you want to see these women fight in the ring, ladies and gentlemen, that's when you tune into Elite Extreme Women. The next topic we have, the third out of 4 topics, is a combat kingdom. You've heard me refer to LTD's arenas as a combat kingdom. There's stables, there's factions, teams, groups, cliques, whatever you want to call them. We have the Bloodyard crew. Kindred had a stare down at the end of the last show. That shit ain't happening on my show. There's no takeovers, no invasions, none of that shit. We settle shit in the ring. Sides are being taken, and the Combat Kingdom is coming very soon in the month of December in LTD. As for our Kindred members, I have an announcement myself. We made the triple threat match for a lethal title shot for the Supercard. That's John the Revelator versus Lord Amadeus versus Judgment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that'll be a 4-way match. And the 4th member, none other than the immortal Griffith Davion. That's right. He's coming, and now all 4 members of Kindred will face each other for a shot at the LTD title. Finally, the last topic we have is Pittsburgh Pandemonium this Wednesday in the city of Pittsburgh, our last show before we take it on the road. Blitzburg Blitzkrieg match will be a 10-man Rumble match where the recently exonerated Xander Webb, out of prison, released, will defend his title in a 10-man Rumble match. The people in this match is a who's who of internet wrestling. Pete Wall, Mondo, Shmoo, Yeti Bloodyard, Scuzz, Ty Blackwell, Chance Harper, Leo Lightning, Scott Royal, and Xander Webb will all enter to see who will be your LTD champion. That's this Wednesday night, live on Blazed Radio. Back to you, Pete.
Fuck, man, that sounded awesome. I love the enthusiasm you bring to your show. I really do. And a lot of shit been going down on your show as well, like everywhere else here in the Digital Wrestling Syndicate. I'm loving it. I really am. Now, I'm hoping Cowboy John's got a little something more for us this week. He's a really quiet guy and really loves to kind of stay in the shadows a little bit. But I want to try and force him out into the light a little bit more and get him talking a bit more on the show. So, Cowboy John, you've been doing lightning strikes for quite some time now, about 6-7 months now, and you started on Facebook.com in a group that you created, and you started off actually using your cell phone to capture what was going down on the shows.
That is correct, Pete.
Now you're on YouTube doing live streams. How does it feel to be taking it to that next level and joining in on the action that is the Digital Wrestling Syndicate?
I mean, it's great. I mean, all you guys are doing great with your shows and helping me out along the way, and I appreciate it very much. I mean, YouTube's a great place to be. And I do have some few announcements I'd like to say as far as issues I've been having lately, and I have changed things up a bit, and my pay-per-views will now be on Tuesdays as well, because just due to issues I've been having. So, and other than that, I'm still working on getting stuff ready and all that, but yeah, as far as things are concerned, I will be doing my pay-per-views Tuesday instead of Sundays, just to make it interesting.
Sounds good, brother. Now, you're talking about this pay-per-view. Now, I don't want you to give anything away because you might want to be keeping it a surprise for wrestlers and whatnot. But with what's been going on in your show, you want to fill people in what's been going on with your show and what is leading up to this pay-per-view that you were talking about, because I want to check it out, bro. I love your show. I watch everyone's show that is in the Syndicate, and as well as Pun the Psychologist channel now. He's doing something unique with UFC and Wrestler Unstoppable characters. So I've been checking that out as well. But what is going on right now with Lightning Strikes? Like, what kind of action is going down?
I mean, honestly, I got to start writing stuff down because I can't remember much. But my last show, I can tell you, I do remember I believe I was in action with Scuzz due to issues he's been having with Hit Squad. And I guess my temper got overwhelmed and I challenged him to a match. And unfortunately, I did come up short by tapping out the Scuzz. It is what it is, and now it's just, we'll have to see where that leads going into tomorrow night.
Well, sounds good, bro. I will be tuning in definitely, and you know everyone here probably will be as well. Now, this whole Scuzz issue with Hit Squad, that's been traveling throughout the Syndicate shows for the most part. Some of the shows it's not being picked up on, but I know in RWO and Ground Zero, that's been it's been a mainstay there, as well as MPW. It all originated in MPW, and it's just kind of traveled throughout the Syndicate. And I do love that, you know, that story arc that can travel throughout the shows and the territories that we call, you know, the Syndicate.
Right.
And it's right now, I believe, one of the biggest stories that is in the Syndicate right now, with the whole Scuzz departing ways, cutting himself off from Hit Squad. And it's brought a lot of turmoil. As everyone knows, Tyler Black put on the shelf. He brings in a protege known as Ty Blackwell, and basically taking over Hit Squad in Tyler's untimely departure from the ring. And thank you, Scuzz, for that. But you know, the storylines are very important, and I'm trying to get people to get more involved with the shows. I really want to work with Evie Bloodyard with a story arc for her character, as well as Devilish and a few others from RWO. And it doesn't matter if it stays in RWO, travels, it doesn't matter. It's all up to the promoters, what they feel that they can add to their show. But for the most part, when a wrestler's traveling the territories, not much of their stories from one federation will travel with them to the next, unless it's a long-standing blood feud, kind of like the Von Erich family and the Freebirds. You know, they battled through decades, and so that kind of stuff, you know, it works, but it needs to be communicated, which we've been doing very well as of late, and I love that part of the Syndicate. I'm going to take it away with Susie the Elf and Elite Extreme Women. She's been biding her time, chewing at the old broom there that she's holding, sweeping the floors of RWO's lobby. So, Susie, is she here? Susie,
I haven't swept the floors in a very long time. There's a janitor for that.
Well, I'm going to open up the floor for you. Let us know what's going on with EXW, please.
All right. And I have been posting everybody's YouTube channel links, and there is mine right there. So please be sure to go and subscribe to all of our channels if you haven't done so. Everybody's working hard to get to a certain goal. Like Mark is trying to get to 150. Tyler's trying to get to 200. I'm trying to get to 100. You know, so if you would, please help each and every one of us out by going and subscribing to each of our channels. It really does help us out. Once I hit 100, I will be doing a giveaway. I don't know yet exactly what I'm going to be giving away, but please go to my channel, hit subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. And while you're at it, subscribe to Pete's channel here. He's trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and hit his bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs thumbs up. I'm seeing we've got 22 people watching and only 16 thumbs up. There's some slackers out there. Get your butts in gear and give him a thumbs up. He works really hard at this, guys. So, Elite Extreme Women, we had our very first real live show on Thursday. We are calling it Thursday Revolution, kind of going with the women's theme of kind of playing into the women's of WWE, that the women's revolution. We are in a revolution here as well. And so it's Thursday Revolution, EXW Thursday Revolution. And we had our first show. We are doing 3 tournaments to determine the 3 top women from the first. We had 25 women that first started out, including myself, but I have excluded myself from the tournament. And so the first 24 women joined the company are in this tournament. And we had our first tournament match where 8 women, and that was Living Dead Girl Queen Steffers, Kassie Joe, Doll Baby, Alexa Weiss, Nadine, Eros 15, Dizzy, Queen Crotch Fungus, and Eva Bloodyard. And so those were the first 8 women that were in the tournament. And out of those, it came down to Doll Baby versus Queen Crotch Fungus. Now, I do have to give a shout out to your niece, Pete. She is the youngest member of our roster. She is 9 years old, and she went up against the scuzziest member of our roster, Queen Crotch Fungus, in the second round. And everybody was cheering for Nadine. There wasn't a person in the chat that was cheering for Crotch Fungus. And your niece gave it her all, and everybody was cheering her on. And unfortunately, she did not pull out the W. But let me tell you, she won the hearts of everyone watching that day. And I tell you, she has lots of fans now. So I want to give a shout out to your niece Nadine. She's won a lot of hearts at EXW. But it did come down to Queen Crotch Fungus and to Doll Baby, and Doll Baby got the win to become the first woman in the triple threat. And on November 30th, we will have our second show and our second tournament. And then after the tournament, we had a little grudge match between myself and Jennifer Just Ice. Jennifer's manager, Vernon Quinn, was in the chat running his mouth about me. We go back a long ways, Vernon and I. And he was running his mouth. And so I put his protege in a grudge match with me to shut his mouth. Well, it didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to, and Jennifer got the pin. But it did accomplish one thing. Vernon quit running his mouth. So we had a little bit of fun there at the end and all. But I will say that in the live stream scene in WU, this whole tournament sparked quite a controversy. And lots of trash talk has been going on. And we have now signed a match for after the second round of the tournament. And there will be a match between Crotch Fungus and any woman that she can get that'll be brave enough to tag with her, and our very own Eva Bloodyard and Raven the Enchanter. So we will have a tag match after the second round of the tournament, and whoever Queen Crotch Fungus can get to tag with her, if she can get anybody to tag with her. and the two lovely ladies of the Bloodyard Crew.
Well, thank you very much for that, Susie. Your show is interesting. I do like the fact that you keep it within the realm of all women wrestling.
That's right. And any men that want to sign with the Elite Extreme Women, well, there's just too bad. We have a signed contract that any men that want to sign with us, they got to go on over and they got to see Blaze over at Leaning Towards Death.
Good to hear. And it's all about helping each other promote each other's companies as well, you know, and we all do that fairly well. And I do appreciate everyone that gives me a shout out on their shows, as well as, you know, giving shout outs for everyone here. I try and do that with every show. I do forget at times, and I do apologize for that, guys. With what's been going on with...
Well, can I real quick?
Yep, go for it.
Real quick, I'd like to give a shout out to my Patreons. I've got two Patreons. One of them is Mark from Bombpop Overdrive. Normally he'd be here, but the other one, I'd like to give a shout out to Mondo. And he is my other Patreon, and I want to give a big shout out to him and thank him for supporting what we do at EXW.
Guaranteed they are very thankful for that shout out. Now, like I was getting into, I haven't been in the best kind of way as of late as a promoter, and I do want to apologize for that. I deal with a lot of physical pain as well as insomnia, and I haven't been taking notes of the shows like I should have been. So I do apologize that as a promoter. I shouldn't be letting that shit get to me when I'm supposed to be taking care of the show. But we had a very interesting week last week with Big Dog Wrestling. We had Blaze McCoy as a special GM, as well as the immortal one, Griffith Davion. And what I loved about what they did with the shows, the complete differentiality that they brought to it. Blaze McCoy went about it his way, and it was a really great show. We had some titles change hands, which I love seeing. Redneck Avenger became a champion, the Canadian champion, and Mondo became the YouTube champion, and I dug it. It was beautifully done. And then the following night, we had the special guest GM of Griffith Davion. And I told these guys right from the start, you can do as you please. You can use any title you choose. You can give anybody a title shot you want. I don't care if it's friends or foe. It don't matter. And we seen that come into play when Kindred's very own Immortal One took the reins of power in Big Dog Wrestling. It was a clean sweep. We had, for the very first time, a wrestler capture 4 titles and hold them all at the same time. And that, my friends, is judgment. He was not only the stable champion, but he was the YouTube champion and the Big Dog champion, I believe. I might be wrong here. Tag team champions. It was off the hook. Kindred held all the titles. Terrell Johnson was your hardcore champion. I believe he still might be. I can't remember. But this week, I took the reins back, and I wanted to see how well Kindred could actually do. Now, yeah, they took on guys that were formidable opponents, but Kindred showed us that there had to be a new way. The champions looked weak, and they came off weak when Kindred took them to task. So it was a clean sweep in the end. Kindred ruled over Big Dog for 1 week. This week, I rectified that. Or I should say this weekend. We've got one more show to do for Big Dog Wrestling. I do apologize for it being late. We're going to have some debut matches with some new characters coming in. But we had Kindred lose every match they were placed in on, it was Friday Fight Night. We have Austin Cole as the new YouTube champion from the Pink and Black Heart Attacks. We also have new tag team champions who I can't remember who the fuck they are. But it all went down. Also, Johnny Platinum lost the Canadian title, which was good to see. So the format has changed once again. The landscape of Big Dog Wrestling constantly shifting at the moment. Who will be ruling in the seat of power in the coming weeks? We're going to find out, because I gave another opportunity this week. And if you guys want a GM, you got to contact me on Skype or Facebook. Okay? If you want that special guest GM spot, let me know about it. I'll get you the roster as quickly as I've chosen a winner. And we will go into that. Don't post it in the chat, because right now I can't see the chat and I'm not going to catch it. So Skype or Facebook, either one. Renegade Wrestling Organization. As you guys have noticed, the feud between Scuzz and Hit Squad has been coming to a head. And in a surprising turn of events, we had Scuzz getting the aid of Griffith Davion when Gold Standard asked Scuzz to join the Gold Standard group. Scuzz shut them down, and it turned into a brawl, and later on a challenge from Gold Standard. It would have been a handicap match, but thankfully Griffith Davion stepped in, had the back of Scuzz, and dispatched of the Gold Standard in a hell of a squash match. Unbelievable how things have been going for Gold Standard. As you guys know, they walked out of Big Dog Wrestling as they claimed the real world champions. And yes, I am one of them. And it isn't a claim, it's a fact. We were the best tag team champions of Big Dog Wrestling. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And we're going to continue that reign in Renegade Wrestling Organization. So, what's going to go down very soon is a tournament. That's going to take place this week. A tag team turmoil fucking tournament. It is going to be off the hook. We're going to see who will be the team that takes on Gold Standard at our upcoming pay-per-view, which will happen in early December. I'm not going to give any facts away yet because I haven't worked out those facts. But that will be the top match. We're going to make sure that they have at least a month to build up that feud and roll into the pay-per-view with one hell of a feud in play. As you guys know, in RWO, the pay-per-views are every 2 months. I want stories to be able to build, story arcs to be able to take place. So if you guys have ideas for your characters, you know who you got to contact. And if you're not going to contact me, I'm going to throw things out at the, shoot from the hip. And what happens, happens. And if you don't like it, don't come crying to me, because I'm just trying to make it a fucking exciting show. Other events. We've got the ongoing feud between Mordecai and his Messengers of Fate and this mysterious arrival of the Savior. And they've been going head to head, specifically against Yeti. But it is basically to start at the top. Cut the head of the snake off and then dismantle all of the Blood Alley Coalition. So, that has been going down and it's coming to a head. And we're going to be moving in action after this show with Renegade Wrestling Organization's edition of Wasteland. So that is all coming up soon. There was a challenge laid down, and we're going to hear more from that when I get in contact with Devilish. But in the locker room, he challenged the Nightmare of Ripper Street into a best of 7 challenge. Sin has been fairly quiet until now. So I am really hoping to hear what's going to take place there. As I said, I got to get in contact with Devilish, work out the details. But my God, these guys have had a storied past in Wrestler Unstoppable. It is coming down to the Wasteland. Let's see how they can tear the house down in RWO. So for the main part, that's been going down. I also want to give a shout out to Super Nacho. The changes that he made in his character, adopting a more serious attitude. the guy's actually winning. He is no longer the super jobber of the digital wrestling era. He is whooping some fucking ass, and it's looking good for BYC at the moment with Super Nacho taking the fight to the rest of the roster. So, pretty good shit going down. Now, there's a lot of other things going down in RWO as well as Big Dog. Destroyer, still your women's champion, defending and reigning over the women's division in Big Dog Wrestling. And so many other things happening in RWO that I just can't remember everything. Next week, I will make sure I have the notes ready and make sure that I've got a better way of going about this broadcast. But this week, it is what it is because, frankly, we usually don't air on Monday nights. What would you guys like to discuss? You know, we are at that point where everyone's gone over the details of what's been going on with their show. You know, there's a lot of these channels that are also doing other things. So if you guys would like to discuss what is all going on with your channels, please take the time to do that. Or if there's anything you want to discuss with the Syndicate issue itself, let's chat, guys.
Well, what I did last night was a Mortal Kombat stream. So if you guys are into Mortal Kombat, come check out the channel because there's going to be a live stream where I actually do the story mode on Mortal Kombat.
Now on Bombpop Overdrive, he's, as you guys know, the ones that have been tuning in, he's been doing Friday 13th, Battlefront, as well as many other games. So make sure you check out his channel as well. I want to keep on giving him a shout out because he isn't here. But wrestling related, anything that needs to be discussed that's going on in the territories right now.
Elfie can give us an ROH report, I'm sure.
Yes, you were at Ring of Honor, were you not?
Yes, I was.
Well, hey, throw a little Ring of Honor in here because at least it isn't the crap that everyone witnessed that was Survivor Series.
Yes, I was at the Ring of Honor show in Oklahoma City last night. And let me tell you, it was a great show. With the exception of one match, Joey Ryan was there. And I personally don't care for the whole Val Venus type gimmick. And he has this whole gimmick where he oils up and puts oil down his trunk. And his whole match is trying to get his competitor to touch his dick. And I'm not, I could do without that. You know, but other than that one match, every match was great. Saw the Young Bucks, and that was I think that was probably the best tag match I have ever seen in person. Absolute phenomenal job that they did. Saw Jay Lethal. Not the first time I've seen him in person, but saw Jay Lethal. He put on one heck of a show. Let's see who. Let's see. I'm trying to think who all else I saw. The did not get to see a world title match because the champion Kenny the Cleaner, or I'm sorry, World TV match, did not get to see a World TV match because Kenny the Cleaner tore his lip, and the Oklahoma Athletic Commission said that because of the injury, they would not allow him to compete. So did not get to see that. Now here's the interesting match though. Got to see, after being put through a Texas death match the night before, got to see Christopher Daniels compete. And he got put through by Cody Rhodes. He was put through a burning table in Dallas, Texas the night before with his back blistered. He had second-degree burns on his back, blistered up, just torn up. Christopher Daniels still comes out and puts on a 15-minute long, at least a 15-minute long match. awesome match. And I mean, just knowing what was going on with his back and the injuries that he had, and is still taking bumps on his back, still being thrown into the turnbuckle, going into the ropes, still doing all of that, and still puts on one hell of a match. It was incredible. Saw Madison Rain. Trying to think who all. It's kind of hard to remember everything you saw. It was just incredible. It was great. Yeah, the announcers can't enunciate. They need you, Pete. You need to contact the Ring of Honor, and you need to be their ring announcers. Their ring announcer.
That would be sick.
Not kidding. I am not kidding.
My goal is to eventually, like here around where I live, there's some traveling indie companies, and my goal is to hook up with them. And I had the opportunity last month. They were looking for a stand-in commentator with a unique sound because one of their announcers was sick, couldn't make the show, and the other one showed up and he had such a bad case of strep throat that he couldn't perform the job regardless. And I was notified after the fact.
Oh, man.
So
well, listen, let me tell you, you look like the guy that was doing the ring announcing. Because I saw the guy sitting at the back doing the ring announcing. You look like this guy. And you have a lot of you have a kind of the same gravelly voice as him, but you can enunciate.
Yeah, I've noticed that from a lot of the companies. Like there are a lot of companies that they're kind of slacking on the commentary table, you know, and they don't know how to make the match exciting. Even if a match is coming off a little bit slow and stale, it's the commentator's job to actually sit there and hype the match up to a point where people are actually interested in what they see. And I've had to do this myself. I was challenged by a couple of guys where I had to commentate a YouTube video with two huge, slow, unskilled motherfuckers in that ring. And they were laughing their asses off, and they actually got into the match. And I'm telling you guys, this match was so slow, so boring. If you would have just watched it without the commentary I did, you would have fallen asleep. And the guy that has the video will not give it to me. Has my commentary all over it, and it was awesome. We were all in tears at the end of the match.
Well, here's my take on the commentators. They're there to help the story along.
Exactly, and the most thing
for those that are listening, they're there to help the story along, and you know,
for the most part, they're there for advertisements now. You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, here at Ring of Honor, I mean, their ring announcer was horrible. You could not understand a word the guy, I mean, if you were lucky, you could understand every third word he was saying because he had the microphone in his mouth.
Oh my goodness.
You know, he was eating the microphone. And I'm sitting there going, when I finally figured out where he was, and I walked by and I saw him. He had the microphone right up to his mouth. I wanted to go by and grab the microphone and pull it away from his mouth and say, "Dude, 6 inches and we could understand you better."
No, it's sad.
You know, you don't have to eat the mic.
It is sad the way the industry is going because the commentators were actually very important back in the day. And I would like to get everyone else's take on it as well. If you don't have the commentary, like look at the way WWE does it. It's all about promoting advertisements that they have going. So it's not so much about the match they're commentating on. They'll throw a little bit of commentary in, but then they'll veer off and talk about products that are sponsoring WWE as well as things that happen last week or whatever, and they're taking the attention of the fans that are watching at home away from the match at hand, and they're no longer focused on what's happening in that match, and that contributes to some of the really bad matches. Everyone's thinking, oh, it's not a very interesting match, but it's a lot of the fault of the commentators because they're not hyping the match up either. And it's just my take on it. I've always loved commentators like Jim Ross and, look at Jesse the Body Ventura.
Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross were so brilliant together.
I always,
Yes.
I always, when I heard Mauro Ranallo in WWE, I always wanted to hear him go in a tandem with JR because they both like to keep the attention on the match at hand.
And Ronaldo, he had so many great turns of phrase.
I did hear some of the commentary for TakeOver, and I heard a lot of "Mamma Mia." That I thought was excessive. And I noticed it with me. I was doing a little bit of too many things, like the whole tossed aside like a used condom and shit. And I've toned that down because I noticed I was overusing it. I was overselling that bit. And it should be a catchphrase that is used seldomly, so that way it is like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from, So
a catchphrase should be used to emphasize, not be slap you in the face.
And that's why I like watching commentators like Blaze McCoy or I should say Rex Rapolsky, hearing him do the whole LTD commentary, as well as guys like Chris or Malice, whoever you want to go by. Chris is the promoter. So I think he has to be separated from that. So he is the promoter of Malicious Intentions Wrestling. And, and Mark, for the most part, Mark is very insecure about his commentary. But everyone I've talked to about it, when they've heard him do commentary, they always praise him. He might not know all the moves, but he goes about it in a way where you still know something good's going down. And
he does incredible commentary.
Yeah, and he's got the voice for it too. He knows how to project his voice, and like Cowboy John and Tyler as well. They're all unique in what they do, and it's all about the wrestling. It's not about garbage placed in for ads and shit like that. I do my promoting for my Patreons and my sponsors in the middle of a match. Not in the middle of a match, in that loading period between the matches. And that's where it should be done. That's what commercials were invented for. So,
Yeah, you use your time, use your spots wisely. And, that's, you got to use your spots wisely and use your downtime, your lull periods for your advertisements.
Now, anything else you guys want to discuss? Any questions in the chat? Like, you guys take the floor. I do a lot of talking as it is, so it'd be nice to hear someone else's voice take over.
Well, do we have any questions in the chat? That would be a good time. Loading periods are good, it says Blade Charge. Good for what?
How about if we talk about Survivor Series real quick? There's only one person I'd like to hear tell me what their thoughts were on Survivor Series, and that is no one else but Ty Blackwell. What does Ty Blackwell have to say about Survivor Series?
What does Ty Blackwell thought of Survivor Series? Ty, what did you think of Survivor Series? This fucking pay-per-view is a piece of shit. Ground Zero Wrestling is way better than that fucking piece of shit product.
Well said. Well said.
The funny thing about Survivor Series, I had my brother over today, and the first thing that came out of his mouth was, Survivor Series was the best Survivor Series I've seen in years. And personally, I never watched it, but I looked at him and I said, really? I said, because everybody I've talked to has shit all over this fucking pay-per-view. And yet you're the guy that's going to sit there and tell me how great WWE did with their pay-per-view. I said, you know what? I said, when I got to hear that Triple H inserts himself into a match and then makes that match all about himself, so I don't have a fucking interest in the world. That guy should be running NXT and staying there. Stay the fuck out of the ring. Let the new guys take over and lead us into a new era where we can actually be happy about fucking wrestling again.
A lot of hate articles out there about Triple H and what he did, and it did kind of overtake the end of the show. But it wasn't a horrible show, but it wasn't the best Survivor Series in any extent.
No, I'm a
That's right.
traditionalist, and when I think of Survivor Series, I think of the old school way of doing things.
Yeah.
You know, it was mainly about the war of the Survivor Series matches itself. They'd have like 4 to 6 teams of 4 men battling it out for supremacy. There's a war of attrition. And then at the end of it, then the winning members would form into one team. It would be heels versus the faces, and end it with who would be the final winners of the Survivor Series. What they do now, it's fucking garbage. It's not Survivor Series anymore. It's a lame fucking pay-per-view that they cram down our throats, and we're supposed to enjoy it.
They said you went silent, Pete.
Really?
Your mic is off again, maybe.
I toned it down when other people are talking. I forgot to put it back up. But, yeah, you know, what I was saying was I'm a traditionalist. When it comes to Survivor Series, it should be done like the old school way. It should be teams of 4, about 6 to 8 teams, battling it out. That's what the pay-per-view used to be about. A war of attrition between the faces, the heels, and then at the very final main event would be the winners of the faces take on the winners of the heels, and then it would be one final Survivor Series type match, and it would be either the heels that won the show or it would be the faces. That's what Survivor Series is to me. This shit that they cram down our throats is just a sorry excuse for a pay-per-view.
Well, Pete, R.W. Jack has a question for you. He said, since you are Canadian, who do you think is the best wrestler from each province in Canada?
Each province in Canada. Wow, that's a hard one. You know, he wasn't given much credit in WWF. He was a fucking tough guy. And he's from, I believe, Quebec. That was Iron Mike Sharp. The shit he did in the ring in the Indies here in Canada was astounding. He was basically used as enhancement talent when he came up to WWF. I got to give credit for him. Bret Hart from Alberta. His brother Owen Hart, definitely. From Manitoba, I don't know too many wrestlers, so I'd have to go with Jericho. Benoit also from Alberta way. Let's see, who else is there? From Toronto, I'd say Edge. Edge had the whole gimmick, he had the look. You know, he's an Ontario boy like I am. You know, so he rose through the ranks quick in WWE once he got that right gimmick going, that rated R superstar gimmick that really clicked with the fans. So around Canada, I guess that would be my picks, you know.
Well, Mortar Griffin put down Lance Storm.
Lance Storm is another one. But he did not have that personality that came across to the fans. He had great technical skills. He was a great wrestler, but he could not connect with the fans on a level that would elevate him in the rankings. So I didn't name him for that reason.
Yeah.
Edge was one of my favorites. What about Trish Stratus for the women?
Candy turned wrestler. Her skills improved over the years. But I'd rather look at her than see her wrestle. You know, it's just me. Just me. Probably a lot of other guys too. But yeah, you know, If it would come to indies, like I had a really good friend that got into the indies here in Canada. He was called Freak Show. Seeing him in the ring, he was a martial artist as well as a technical wrestler and an extreme wrestler. And he got to train a little bit with the Hearts out in Calgary in a wrestling gym out there that they frequented, and they took him under his wing for a while. It was really good to see him in the ring. Got to see quite a few of his matches, and the guy could really excite the people watching. And that's what it is. It's being able to connect on every level with the fans. Just being a great wrestler does not make you a great performer in the ring, you know. And that's where, sadly, Lance Storm fell. You know, a great wrestler, but when you can't connect with the fans, it just doesn't make you a great superstar.
Yep, Kenny Omega is one. Yep, Kenny Omega.
No, but,
Do we have any other questions for anybody?
wow. The sound of silence.
Well, I want to announce this coming up Sunday will be another Ground Zero Wrestling special. It is called After Dawn. After Dawn. Why is that? Because Pete Wall is going to go one-on-one with Ty Blackwell, and it's going to be televised where everyone will be able to see it, not when it's untelevised.
No cheating this time. Remember, you're not allowed at the commentators table during that match, Tyler.
Well, then who will commentate it?
Who's going to commentate?
I know someone who might do it.
There you go. That's
Mr. Rapolsky?
I'd have to ask him, see if his schedule's open.
That would be beautiful.
How would he be able to do it when I do it for the PS4?
Rex Rapolsky is so infamous, he could call a match without even seeing it.
You never know what he pulls out of his ass. That's Rex Rapolsky.
Also, I did forget. I did want to discuss.
Griffith says he'll do it.
I did want to discuss some things that are going to be happening in RWO, which I forgot earlier on. The roster grew a little bit more than I was expecting. I was expecting about 50 wrestlers. We are probably a little over 60. So that has caused some conflicts of scheduling everyone for matches on a weekly basis. And I want to give everyone that opportunity to shine each week. So what I'm going to be doing is for the you're going to have your Wasteland, your Wrestle Dome, and then we're going to have RWO Wasted, and it's going to be
Is that for all the drunk wrestlers?
No, it's going to be 4 matches where it's going to be all about the women. I want to give all the women a chance to shine. Not to take away from what you're doing, Susie. It's just I needed a show where I can kind of build the women up a little bit more on my show as well. And it's not going to be that they're taken out of the regular shows either. It's just so that way there's more room for other wrestlers to appear on the show as well. So I want to make Wednesdays, it'll be in the afternoon or in the evening. I don't know which yet. But it will be about the women and giving them a time to shine. Also, to work in more matches for the factions that are brewing. You guys see me do it. I did it really late last night. I think it was like 1:30 in the morning. And I can't even remember what I called it. But
You call it No Man's Land. No Man's Land.
No Man's Land. And that is all about gangland warfare within the factions of RWO. So we got to see a match that was already in progress. It was Gold Standard taking on, God damn it, I can't remember their names offhand.
The Messengers of Fate.
Yes, Messengers of Fate. And Messengers of Fate took the win home. And then it was Kindred versus BYC. Both matches took...
Are you
What?
Are you sure you don't want to call it RWO Insomnia Land? That one came from Griffith.
Yeah, it would be insomnia-induced streaming. But a great match. Both matches, like I was already in the match for half an hour with Gold Standard, and I went live with it and I figured, oh my god, this is fucking good. People are gonna love it. And then I went in for the second match. Both matches in total took 2 hours, and it is 8-man tags, so that should be a nice show. And it will be late night, so a lot of people are gonna have to catch the replay on it. I do apologize for that, but it's the way I am, and I'm not gonna change for nobody. But you know, that's the last bit I wanted to go on about RWO.
Is anybody doing a stream after tonight, after this show tonight?
I am RWO.
Pete is, and then I am doing Beatdown right after Pete.
Now, anything else we need to go over before we end this this stream?
I don't have anything coming up tonight, but this Thursday will be Malicious Intentions Wrestling presenting Bloodlust officially. We've got words from Blaze McCoy winning the title. Yeti is upset about being thrown out of that match, so you can expect some kind of reaction from him. Griffith, his protege,
I have a quick question for you. You know it's Thanksgiving, right?
Yes, it's going to be like super, super, super late Thursday.
Okay, just making sure, because, you know, lots of people will be in turkey-induced comas.
Oh, yeah, myself included. It'll be around the time that I wake up. I'll just get up like, yes, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Let's go live.
Okay, just wanting to check.
Yeah, I've planned for that. But Griffith's protege and Bonnie, I always get my tongue tied on her name. She won the #1 contendership tournament for the title that Susie the Elf is currently holding, so you can expect some follow-up from that.
As Scallywag
So
ain't
much
getting
coming.
my title.
Blaze, John, Susie, you guys got anything else to add? Tyler?
Nope.
Well, I'm not streaming on Thanksgiving because I plan on being involved in that turkey-induced coma, and I'm traveling. So EXW will be taking the week off. We'll see you back next week.
Okay, that's good to know for everyone that's out there. John, you silent motherfucker.
No.
Quit hiding in the car, John.
Oh, everything's good here, Pete.
Everything's good, okay. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for taking part in this. Good to have Chris on today. Part of the Syndicate. What's up, Blaze?
I don't have anything to say, but I know someone has something to say. Rex wants to say something.
Oh, take it away, Rex.
Tune in this Wednesday at Blazed Radio for LTD's first supercard. That is Pittsburgh Pandemonium, Blitzburg Blitzkrieg. All the titles are on the line this Wednesday night. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Rex, man. Oh, gonna love that guy. So later on tonight, I need a little bit of time to set things up. But later on tonight will be Wasteland here on Pillar to Post. Tomorrow will be WrestleDome. And, of course, it's with 2K18. And now Tyler Black's going to be doing a show later on after RWO, if I am correct. So there's a lot of wrestling stuff.
Or I can do it, or it's up to you, Pete. If you're not ready yet, I can even go live after this.
Okay, you go live right after this show. It gives me time. I haven't eaten all day, so I got to grab a quick bite, set things up for the show, and
I will.
Okay, so you take it away.
Tonight's Wasteland, right?
What was that?
Tonight's Wasteland, right?
Yes, tonight is Wasteland. So
oh yeah,
stay tuned for that, guys. It'll be a little bit later, and I'll try and get on as quickly as I can. But like I said, I haven't eaten all day, so I got to take care of my body first, and then jump on the PS4 and set things up, and I'll be live. So Tyler's going to take it away with some Ground Zero action. See you guys soon. Once again, thank you, John.
Thank you, Pete.
Silent motherfucker you are, you know? Thank you, Blaze, from Blaze Radio. And you can find Cowboy John on Cowboy John's channel.
Thank you, everybody in the chat, for coming in. Thank you, Pete, for having me.
Always a pleasure. Chris from Malicious Intentions Wrestling. Also, the channel is called Anarchy Gaming.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me out here, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys so much.
And don't forget, get that man a glass of milk for fuck's sakes.
He needs some milk. Get him some milk.
That's what Ty Blackwell's going to need when we go face-to-face on Ground Zero Wrestling. Tyler Black from TCB Sportscast Gaming.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you guys very much. Tune in right after this for Ground Zero Wrestling Beatdown.
And last but not least, she is our resident Link Monkey. Thank you very much, Susie the Elf from Elite Extreme Women.
Thank you, Pete. And be sure, everybody, if you haven't dropped a thumbs up, get your mouse clicking on that thumbs up. Show Pete what you mean, what he means to you.
And finally, best wishes, and hopefully we see him soon on the channel again. Mark from Bombpop Overdrive. You guys take it easy. Have a good night. I will catch you guys all later on with some RWO action. So thanks again, guys, for being here. Anything else left to say before I hit that
Nope.
stop streaming button?
Thank you for everything that you do for us, Pete.
Oh,
Yes, Pete. Thank
no
you.
thanks necessary. Believe me, I do it willingly every fucking time.
The godfather of the DWS.
He made us an offer we couldn't refuse.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys have a good one. Take it easy, and we will see you, if not this week, we will see you next week, and hopefully Mark is back with us. Okay, have a good night, guys.
All of y'all, everybody
Good
have
night.
a happy and safe Thanksgiving.
Man, you
Have
make-
a-
Happy Thanksgiving, people.
there we go. You guys make me look like a fool. I forget about your American Thanksgiving.
That's okay. We had it covered. We forget about yours. So, tit for tat.